You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey, Days of Our Lives fans, I've got your 2-week spoilers for June 2nd through the 13th. We've got John's funeral, Bo is back to Salem, and also a wedding. It's Belinda from Soap Dirt. If you're not following us, please click that subscribe button. So on Monday, June 2nd, things go up and they go down for one and down and up for another. So Hope, Ciara, and Shawn are there to support Bo. He's had the Versavix, and it looks like things are looking up for him. But then we've got heavenly scenes of a sorest Zach Brady up in heaven with his dad, Bo. You know, that sounds like a near-death thing. Zach passed away back in 2006. He was struck by a hit-and-run driver, another kid of Bo's. So if you don't remember that. Also, Abe and Lexi actually had raised Zach for the first 2 years of his life because of a baby swap. But then Bo and Hope got him back. And I saw some news source saying that Bo finally gets to meet his son, Zach. And it's like, no, he was raising him. So this is just older Zach, surprised that they can have a conversation, and he couldn't have that meaningful of a conversation with a little kid. So then we're going to have Bo waking up, which is great news. Kayla and Steve are reminiscing on the past, probably about John and Bo both, and just these terrible life-changing things happening. On Friday, John Black was doing better. Everybody thought he was going to survive. Brady was happy. Paul was happy. Belle was relieved. Marlena, all that, everything was looking good. And then on Monday, everything takes a turn. And it looks like Monday is when he passes away. Marlena is there at his side and tells John, if you have to go, just go. It's okay. So get those tissues out. It's going to be big stuff all week. We're also going to have a lot of flashbacks these coming 2 weeks. On Tuesday, June 3rd, we've got Salem grieving John's death. Marlena, of course, is devastated, and word begins to spread. Kayla personally goes to tell Roman the next day that John had passed away the night before, and this is going to be really hard. And of course, if you remember your old days history, there was that overlap of Roman and John where for a while John actually thought he was Roman, and then they undid it. So it's very complicated. So they've got kids in common like Carrie, you know, who is the bio of one, but feels like dads are in both roles. Marlena, meanwhile, tells Eric when she's back at home from the hospital after John passes that you just never get enough time with people that you love. And Belle rethinks being involved with EJ. Now, I don't know if Marlena comes hot off the heels of losing her husband and tells Belle dump EJ. I don't think she would do that, but just knowing the issues and the idea of the family tolerating EJ at Belle's side at the funeral is probably going to be real problematic. So, you know, he's going to want to be there for Belle, but we've seen EJ realizing he can't and he needs to step back. And this is just going to be a really tough time. We'll see if their relationship survives it. Kristen opens up to Brady. Obviously, she's going to have to tell him about blackmailing EJ so that Brady doesn't insist that Rachel go tell the cops about seeing Johnny that night. On Wednesday, June 4th, Hope and Shawn and Ciara are celebrating a miracle. Bo is wide awake. We may see some flutters on Monday, but by Wednesday, he is wide awake, talking to his family. It is such a big deal. So look for Peter Reckell to say his first words to people in person. Obviously, he was already having that heavenly conversation. So they're all celebrating, but at the same time, then they have to fill Bo in and tell him that the reason he's awake and survived was John, but he was injured in the explosion, and now everyone has lost him. So this is pretty terrible. Meanwhile, Andrew, Donovan, and Paul Narita decide they're going to stick to their wedding plans despite this turn where Paul has lost his dad, John. So are they going to rush out this wedding before the funeral? We'll see. Brady and Belle are there for their mama, Marlena. Well, mom, stepmom. And this, of course, is after losing John, and Marlena sees her life is about to change. So their mother and mother figure, depending on who you're talking about, both there to support her. And of course, after John's death, all of Marlena's friends, family, and loved ones are there for her and to support the kids and grandkids. Everybody's grieving all over Salem. Thursday, June 5th, Gabby is arguing with her daughter, Ariana. This wild child is going to give people a coronary. Kat has her charity date with Chad, which is bad timing because Jennifer and Jack are back to Salem for John's funeral, and Jen's going to be a lot mad about this date. Bo says that his love for Hope is still there. And of course, it came back right before he was shot by Shawn, if you remember, when I think his last words were fancy face, like right before Shawn shot him, because he thought that Bo was going to shoot Hope, which he was going to do it. Bo also gets to meet little Bo Weston and, find out more about his grandchild, half Ciara, half serial killer. It's so sad that he's working as Alex now because we never get to see Ben Weston. And it's funny because I like Ben more than I like Alex. He is soaked so thoroughly into the new part, though. So little granddaughter Addie is around as well. Tate's crushed over his grandfather John's death, and Holly is there to console him. And Leo has another conversation with Doug 3 where he confesses some things. Is he going to tell him that he slept with Gabby's daughter? I wonder if Doug is just going to say, I slept with this really pretty girl named Mariana, and Leo's going to be like, oh, that's Gabby's daughter. I can't remember if Ari mentioned her mom Gabby's name or her last name. Did he even get a last name? And her last name is Horton, not Hernandez anyway. So I think Doug's in for a surprise on Thursday. Friday, June 6th, Kate is at the hospital begging Philip to please wake up out of this coma. He was so terribly injured. And of course, Xander has been arrested for the attack on him. Stephanie's manuscript's getting passed around. Alex had given it to Kate. I wonder if she'll give it to somebody. Stephanie's not going to be very happy about this. Carrie tries to console Marlena, who is, of course, inconsolable, and Jennifer rages about Chad getting close to Kat. And there's a tour of the hospital for Sophia, Tate, and Amy ahead of the birth of the child. June 9th through the 13th, we've got the funeral happening this week. We keep hearing it's going to kick off this week. We'll see how long it goes. We keep hearing that Sammy and Sydney's flights are delayed, but as far as I knew, Allison Sweeney was returning for the funeral. Thaao Penghlis is back June 12th as Tony DiMera. Lots of people on their way to Salem for a very sad goodbye, so save those tissues. Going to be lots of tears, lots of flashbacks. Peter Reckell said that it was very hard playing Bo at John's funeral. Also, he was upset when he was in town filming these scenes. He did not get to see Drake Hogestyn because Peter is living full-time in Alaska now, and it just didn't work out. So we'll see if Sammy's back. Hopefully she is. I don't know about Sydney, but if Sydney is, I wonder if she is going to be a Saurus teen and that they are beefing up for the summer season, like they used to do. And we are also going to find out if Xander gets bail or if this plot's going to be totally sidelined until after John's funeral. And don't forget, Andrew and Paul's wedding is happening. Look for Colton Little back as Andrew Donovan and expect some other big returns for John's funeral. And I'm still wondering if we're going to get Dick Van Dyke back as Timothy Robichaux. I hope so, but we'll see.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast, because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.